Mesa Air Group shares are popping today. The stock moved on news that it is winding down its operations with American Airlines and finalizing a new agreement with United Airlines. Here with more on this is Jonathan Ornstein, Mesa Air Group Chairman and CEO. Jonathan, it's great to have you back here on Yahoo Finance. So I know you sent a memo to your employees saying that you had negotiated a mutual agreement to end your contract with American. I also want to bring up that American has said that it was due to concerns about Mesa's ability to be a reliable partner. This is according to Derek Kerr, the CFO of American Airlines. So just walk us through the decision, what happened, and how you're set up going into 2023.
Yeah, first, let me address that. I mean, it is truly, it's just disingenuous. We actually went to American, and when we first wanted to set up a meeting to talk about a wind down, they said, don't even bother coming to Dallas. We don't want to talk about a wind down. In fact, they wanted, not only did they try to incentivize us offered us an extension of the contract. So, I mean, I just have a problem with that because it's, really denigrates the hard work of all my people. And the bottom line is we went to them because we were losing so much money, $5 million a month, and just said, look, we need to get out so that we can continue to operate the business and provide jobs for, 3,500 people. So, I mean, we initiated, we discussed it, and I think, I think that should be clear. And what really makes it even more irksome is the fact that, for years, Mesa has outperformed American mainline in terms of, reliability. Now, recently with the pilot shortage, obviously it's been more challenging, but, we've been partners with American or their predecessors for a long time. And so I just think that it was unfair to say that about, my people who I think really do a great job and work really hard through the pandemic. I just think it's unfair. And I want to straighten that out because we, in fact, initiated those conversations and really pressed to be able to wind down the agreement.
We appreciate your candor on that, Mr. Ornstein. So what is the value add United versus American?
Well, United has a great long-term future in terms of their growth plan. They just ordered enough aircraft that the aircraft they ordered alone would represent the 6th largest airline in the world. Scott Kirby, the CEO there, has been a friend of mine since we worked on the America West bankruptcy together in 1992. Andrew Nacella, these are all guys I've worked with at Continental. Their CFO, Jerry Latterman, and I know what their vision is for the future. And frankly, they valued our people and our services when pay rates went up 100%, which in fact was initiated by American Airlines. They came to us and said, look, we want you to be competitive and we're willing to pay that. American decided that while they were going to pay their own subsidiaries, they weren't going to pay Mesa or their other unaffiliated carriers. So, I mean, for us, the value add is that we can pay market rates to our people, particularly our pilots, where there's a shortage been, created due to all the new government regulation. But we now can hire people, we can retain people, and they can move to United Airlines as part of, their program at Mesa. And so it's a great opportunity. And I think pilots around the country have seen that. We weren't able to do that before with substandard wages where we just weren't competitive. And if our partners were not willing to pay, I mean, it's not like we can raise fares. I mean, we don't control the fares. We can't change our schedule. They control the schedule. So we really were between a rock and a hard spot and just had to make a change and move our operations to a party that valued that and was willing to pay for that. And that's what we did when we moved to United.
Hey, Jonathan. So as we sort of enter or we're in the midst of holiday travel season, are you guys seeing a big kind of pick up in demand? And how do you guys sort of plan for that with do you buy new planes? How do you expand capacity?
No, I mean, right now, capacity is absolutely just being driven by pilot supply. If we had more pilots, we would be flying more. I mean, airfares have gone up a lot over the year. It's not necessarily because of demand. It's just because of supply. I mean, everybody is smaller because of, what's going on the pilot side. I mean, we would probably be flying, 40% more if we had pilots to do that. So, when we look at the holiday seasons, obviously the problem becomes exacerbated because we can only fly so much. This is all due to some regulations that made the requirements for pilots much, much harder, in terms of the total amount of hours they had. And it really just plugged up the supply line. And we're now basically working our way through that. And as I said, with United, they're providing us with the level that we can, to pay pilots and the rest of our staff, frankly, which we also have shortages, for example, in maintenance, where we can attract and retain the people we need to fly the airplanes as much as we have demand for, which is a lot more than we have right now. That's for sure.
So, Jonathan, what does this mean for airfare? Because it's still up in November, up over 30% on a year-over-year basis. In terms of any consumers, any flyers seeing any relief, is that 6 to 12 months, maybe even longer, just in terms of the outlook there, given the fact that we do have such a shortage?
I think it's going to take some time. I mean, the problem could obviously be solved by changing some of these regs, but most people will agree that the likelihood of Washington doing that is pretty remote. So we've all sort of worked as best we can to train people as fast as possible. But remember, the training that pilots go through is rigorous, and our failure rate is over 25%. So, the fact of the matter is it's just going to take time. And I would suggest that as long as demand holds up, which, of course, is questionable in this environment, you're going to see, continued pressure on pricing. It's unfortunately part of the downside of these new regulations.
Mesa Chairman and CEO Jonathan Ornstein, good to see you again, sir. Thank you.